welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I wanted to do a video today on moral scrupulosity. I want to do a video today on moral scrupulosity. So my experience with moral scrupulosity was, I would say it was never, maybe it took the main stage for a little while, but I think mostly it was always like a side theme. So mine displayed in a lot of ways. One of the main ones being that I really hated lying. So I was unable, obviously, you know, white lies have their place, and sometimes telling a white lie is not the worst thing in the world. Sometimes actually it's, I wouldn't say necessary, but it can make things easier, i.e. telling someone that something looks nice on them when you don't think it does. You know, telling your child's school that they are feeling poorly when really you just want to take them out for the day. Just lots of reasons. White lies can be beneficial. However, when you have OCD, particularly moral scrupulosity OCD, telling white lies can make you feel like you are the worst person in the entire world. And I really struggled with it. So I would still do it. So I would tell white lies, and then I would feel the most intense anxiety afterwards, and the need to confess, and the need to confirm that that's not what I meant, and that maybe they had misunderstood me because I had said it in a way that was incorrect, or I found that, yeah, telling lies was really difficult for me, feeling like a bad person. So obviously feeling like a bad person is quite a massive fear of ours, and I think that's where a lot of it stemmed from me, is fear of being a bad person, but also a fear of rejection. So I would tell a white lie, and then I would panic that someone would find out about the lie, and I wouldn't be able to relax until I had told them about it. So I felt like I couldn't really do many things without feeling guilty. I felt really guilty. I think I've spoken about this before, but this is, you know, just an example of how silly it got. When I was dishing up like dinner for my daughter and I would have to give her like a slightly bigger portion, and like the food that looked best on the plate. Like I wouldn't be able to give myself the nice looking food, because then automatically in my head, bad mum, bad person, can't do that. If I spent money on myself, I would have to also spend money on her. So as I always say, like all of my themes that kind of affected me also kind of went on to my daughter. And you know, if a family member asked me to do something for them and I didn't do it, I would feel absolutely terrible. I would think that they don't care about me anymore. They are going to stop like contacting me to ask me for things, and I would leave that relationship with them. But I mean, a lot of the time that was obviously not the case at all, and that was, I completely made that up in my head. And I think once you kind of get over the fear of rejection, once you kind of realise that actually you can say no to things, or you can do things that people might not accept and people might not be happy with, I think you kind of stop living in this like always aiming to please life. So I think a lot of the things that I've done in my life was to make other people like me, to try and, well, I say make other people like you can't make other people like you, but to try and win people over or hope that it would make them like me. And I think since I've got over the fear of rejection a lot, it's not that I don't care, but it's that I understand that if they don't like me, it's not actually the worst thing ever. Like, if people don't like me, then it doesn't actually affect my life in any way. Which was a big one for me with moral scrupulosity. I think that's the lesson I really needed to get my head around, is that other people's opinions of me don't actually matter, and that kind of that allowed me to then start not caring as much what other people thought, or if people thought I was a bad person, or if people judged me. And that just allowed me to live how I wanted to. I used to say that I wanted to be religious, because I'm not religious, but I used to say that I wanted to be religious so that I could confess, because I thought that by confessing things, like to a priest or something, that I would kind of feel less like I was, I want to say a sinner, but again, I'm not religious, so I didn't think of myself as a sinner. I thought of myself as a bad person. But I thought if sinners can kind of relieve themselves of sins by confessing, maybe the same worked for bad people if they told everyone everything bad that they'd done. But I mean, a lot of confession with other themes kind of ties in with moral scrupulosity as well, because the reason I felt the need to confess all the time with other themes is because I thought I was a bad person. I thought people needed to know that I was a bad person. I thought, you know, it's not right of me to kind of be around people and them not know what's going on in my head, because if they knew what was going on in my head, then maybe they wouldn't want to be around me, and that was kind of up to them to decide, and they should know. Whereas now I very much have the opinion of I don't have to tell anyone anything. If I want to tell people things, then fine, but there's no reason for me to have to tell anyone anything, because it's not their business if I don't want to tell them. So, whereas the idea of being able to not tell people things just would have never crossed my mind before. I thought that you just have to, and not even just be honest, because I'm talking about I was oversharing everything, because it's not even that people ask me questions and I wouldn't answer them, and I would answer them, but even if no one asked anything, I would feel like, well, I've just got to tell you kind of what's on my mind, or I've got to tell you like that I did this thing when I was 15, 16 years old. I did this, and you have to know about it, because you then need to decide if you want to be around me. Or it's really crazy when I look back at all of the behaviours that I was doing that just wouldn't really cross my mind anymore. They've kind of gone from being my go-to reaction to my, why was I doing that? But yeah, that's all I want to say about moral scrupulosity OCD. But if you want to hear any more about my personal experiences with it, or you have any other suggestions, please just let me know, and I'll be happy to cover it in another video. Thank you.